Okay then, Outriders, welcome back to another video. Today we have got an interesting one. This is one that was requested by a lot of you guys throughout the live streams, and it's going to be my top listing of weapon mods that are going to cause A, a lot of damage, or B, be really fun to use. Either way, you guys requested this a lot. We've got another live stream going up with carries inside of Rupture tonight here on the channel. Make sure you stay tuned for it. Also, we go live every Tuesday through to Friday on Twitch. The link will be down in the description. With that being said, like, subscribe, and let's get into the listing of the best mods in my personal opinion. So starting off, we have got a very interesting one. This one, as well as you guys may already know, is a powerful mod indeed, and this is Omen. Now the Omen is a pretty OP mod. Actually would classify this as probably one of the strongest mods in the games right now for any sort of weapon damage output. This shots launch over a cover piercing anomaly projectile that inflicts bleed and damages around 500,000 in damage, and applies a status that increases damage received by 10% for 3 seconds. Now what I can do with this weapon, based on the fact that I got it on a messenger, and it's the 3rd procced slot, which was really helpful. So helpful, I actually got it on all 3 of the weapons that I'm utilizing for this build. This is a very strong weapon, and we managed to actually claim out around an 18 million shot with Omen so far, and that is, as you can see, at level 56. This is pretty nutty. We're going to show you guys exactly what it does right now. As you can see, with the weapon of choice, right at the end of it, we'll have a absolutely amazing Hell's looking thing. You can see no matter what weapon it's got, you are going to end up with that procking up eventually, and when it does, you are going to cause an almighty amount of damage. So what happens when you pull the trigger? You can see right here, we wait for the cross to come up on the end of the gun, and when we fire it, it sends out an absolutely ridiculous projectile. Now, when it says that it goes through things, it's not joking. We're going to shoot it through this right here, just to give you guys a bit of an insight as to what it exactly it does. We are going to probably use this thing right here. We'll use this. We're going to stand, and we're going to fire through the wall, and as you can see, it goes straight through the wall and continues forward. This is pretty damn strong, and you can get some bonkers numbers out of this thing. So for me, this is a highly recommended mod that you have to be using. Just have to be. Now, whilst we're in Rupture's loading lobby, we're going to show you guys another one, which is extremely fun indeed, and this one comes on the Charred Lance. Now, obviously, all of these weapon mods can become the 3rd mod of any weapon sort that you want, so you've got to make sure you keep an eye out for it. But the Death Ray is an absolutely amazingly fun weapon mod to utilize. Aiming down sights from an anomaly beam that deals 112,000 damage every 0.3 seconds when it contacts an enemy. Now, this is not the strongest mod by any stretch of the imagination, but there is obviously, if there's going to be a list of cool and strong mods that you can utilize, one where you don't even have to pull the trigger, but just aim down sight and shoot out a phase beam that is endless and does not stop, is definitely going to be bloody one of them, don't you think? Now, I'm sure that you can utilize a build that is going to make this extremely strong and will essentially make this extremely powerful. I have not yet done it, although it is on my list of things to do. If any of you guys have, let me know in the comment section below. But this is bonkers. No ammo needed, no trigger pulling. You can add into it, obviously, and if you happen to have Omen on top of this, well, I can only imagine the absolute carnage that you're going to cause. So that's definitely one that you want to use, is Death Ray. Okay, this next one is no joke. We have got Firestorm. Now, successful shot summon a homing Firestorm that deals 1.4 million damage and inflicts burn against enemies within a radius over 8 seconds. The radius of the Firestorm increases with each successful shot on the afflicted target. So we're going to show you exactly how this works today, but as you can see, if we take a bullet shot at this guy right here and actually get it on, the phase beam will follow this guy around the map until it causes enough damage on him. Now, if we utilize that on somebody else, this phase beam is going to channel its way over towards the other person. So as you can see, we proc it right there. Phase beam comes up from the top. We're going to fire at this guy, and it's going to transfer through to that guy. Going to shoot at this one, and it makes its way over. And you can just rinse and repeat this over and over again. This thing is pretty bonkers. It just travels around the map, causing ridiculous amounts of damage, and just helps out your build tenfold. On top of it, like obviously everything else I like running, we've got this attached with Omen, which means that the damage output per bullet shot or anything like that is just absolutely nutty with this phase beam just traveling around the map. Firestorm is probably in my top 2 mods that you need to be rocking at the moment. I know a lot of people like things like a lot of other mods that cause damage outputs from the sky, or will come down with an electric bolt or something like that. It's just not personally even coming close to some of these new mods that we have on the table right now. Between Omen and Firestorm, definitely your top 2 must-haves, and will be incorporated into absolutely any build that you have on hand. This for me is just nutty. You can see that the damage is just cracked out of its box. Okay, next up we are going to be showing you this awesome one, and this one is Nicola's Revenge. Now this is a bit of an underrated one, and it's one that actually will work very, very well in Terra Gratara, and there is a main reason for this, but I would use it as your second weapon. This would be really, really good in the boss rooms with got ads that are roaming all around it. So shots link up to 5 enemies within an 8-meter radius around the initial target, dealing 500,000 in damage over 2 seconds to each of them, as long as the initial target is alive. So essentially stating that if you shoot an elite or a bigger boss, then it's going to chain to anything around it. Now this is going to be really, really helpful with things like those bloody annoying Corsairs, but we're going to show you right here, because we know that a couple of elites will come out of here. Just wait for the skulls to pop up. Now we have to use it with the elites, mainly because these things just don't stay alive long enough. But you will notice, even though this build is not procced for this weapon, I've just not built around this at all. We are just showing you for the showcase basis of how good this thing can be. Now we've got some of these guys coming out. We're going to shoot at one of them, and you are going to notice that the damage output just stems across everything within a 5-meter radius, therefore dealing damage to things that you don't even need to shoot at. This is something which is really, really good, and is, for me personally, something that you just want to be utilizing as much as possible, especially during those boss fight encounters. You can just literally shoot at the guy with the most amount of health, and everything around it will just take its damage, as you can see right there. It's really, really fun, and it's something you guys need to be utilizing. Okay, and last but by no means least, this one is absolutely bonkers as well. Everything in this game that's bonkers at the minute seems to be some sort of fire relation, but we have got the Violent Rupture. Now shots create a volcanic explosion dealing up to 843,000 damage within a 6-meter radius with a 5-second cooldown. So with this one, we've got this one on a pistol ourselves. Again, though, it can roll across numerous different weapon sorts, and it procs really well with other sorts of things, such as, you got it right, guys, Omen. Omen works really well with this, but as you can see, a volcanic eruption will proc on the floor, causing an absolute shed ton of damage, and that is absolutely amazing. Now, it doesn't proc on every shot, and I will say that if you take your shots carefully, you'll get it every couple of rounds. If you take it very, very carefully, you'll get it every round. If you just absolutely spam the living life out of this thing, you are not going to get it all too often in comparison to the round outages. But this is something that is just mental to look at. It's fun to use, and you can have some awesome times with this. It makes you feel a lot like a pyromancer without even having to be a pyromancer. Yep, we love utilizing flames as a techno. It's just the way that it is. I'm sorry. Okay, so that's just a few mods that you guys can be using in any build across any of your weapons right now you want to be looking out for, either them to drop on the 3rd slot, or you want to be adding them into your weapon builds as it stands, because the damage output or the fun that you can gain with this is absolutely mental. That's all we've got time for today. If you want a list of more mods that we can utilize and how to utilize them, or you want to move on to weapon armor mods, and we can do that as well. Thank you so much again for watching, guys. If you haven't already, smash the like button, subscribe, post notifications turned on. Appreciate your faces, and as always, I'll see you in the clouds.